Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. I can't believe it, but we've reached week 13. The Thanksgiving break is here, and before we know it, the semester will be finished. But before we get to that point, let's take one step at a time. Due to the Thanksgiving break, our routine for this week will be different than usual. The assignments will be due on Monday and Tuesday instead of Wednesday and Friday. So for this week, you'll finish Octavia Butler's novel Kindred, and you'll submit quiz number 8, Symbolism. After reviewing the video Symbolism, respond to the 5 following questions. 1, based on the video, how would you define a symbol? 2, what is a cultural symbol? 3, what is a universal symbol? 4, what is a contextual symbol? And 5, in Kindred, Octavia Butler gives each chapter a title. For example, this week we read the chapter entitled The Storm. Choose one chapter title from the novel, such as The River, The Fire, or The Rope, and explain how this chapter title may be symbolic. This quiz is worth 5 points and is due by the end of the day on Monday, November 20th. Then you'll participate in discussion forum number 13, Time Travel and Symbolism in Kindred. After reading The Storm to the epilogue, respond to one of the following writing prompts. You may choose writing prompt number 1. In a brief section of the Reader's Guide, Robert Crossley touches on the history of time travel literature to make a point. He notes that Kindred does not read like a typical science fiction story because it does not contain the time-traveling device that we've come to expect in time travel stories because of H.G. Wells. Devices such as the DeLorean and Back to the Future, or the Doctor's TARDIS and Doctor Who. Instead, Dana travels rather mysteriously, with no clear reason given other than Rufus is somehow able to call her to the past. Crossley claims that Butler does not give her novel a clear scientific or pseudoscientific explanation of the time traveling because she wants to evoke the terrifying and nauseating voyage that looms behind every American slave narrative, the middle passage from Africa to the slave markets of the New World. In her experience of being kidnapped in time and space, Dana recapitulates the dreadful, disorienting voyage of her ancestors. After reviewing this passage, address the following questions in your response. What do you think about Butler's refusal to give a scientific or pseudoscientific, which means it seems like science but really isn't, explanation for Dana's time traveling? Do you think it's necessary to have such a device in a science fiction story about time travel? Why or why not? What do you think about Crossley's explanation for Butler's refusal to clearly explain Dana's time traveling? To what extent do you agree that Dana's inability to control her own traveling to the past is reminiscent of Africans being enslaved? And why do you think it's necessary for Dana, a modern woman living after the Civil Rights Movement, to experience the same dreadful, disorienting voyage of her ancestors? What might Butler be suggesting with Dana's shared experience? Or you may choose this writing prompt. In one part of the Reader's Guide to Kindred, the literary critic Robert Crossley focuses on the symbolism of Dana's amputated arm. Quoting Octavia Butler, he tells us, "I couldn't really let her come all the way back. I couldn't let her return to what she was. I couldn't let her come back whole, and that, I think, really symbolizes her not coming back whole. Antebellum slavery didn't leave people quite whole." After reviewing this passage, address the following questions in your response. What do you think about Butler's response? What do you think the loss of Dana's arm might symbolize? What do you think Butler means by antebellum slavery didn't leave people quite whole? Why might it have been important for Butler to not have Dana return to her own time whole? And how might Butler's response compare to your own understanding of the symbolism of Dana's arm? When replying to your peer, you may reply to a peer who responded to the same writing prompt or a peer who chose a different prompt. So for your peer who responded to the same prompt, you may consider in your reply, what similarities do you notice in your responses? What differences do you notice in your responses? And how might your peer's response supplement or add to your own understanding of the topic addressed in the prompt. But if you choose a peer who responded to a different prompt, you may consider in your reply, how might you have responded to the prompt compared to your peer? What did you learn from your peer's response? And how does your peer's response add to your understanding of the topic addressed in the writing prompt and the chapter in particular? This discussion board forum is worth 10 points. The main post is due by the end of the day on Monday, November 20th, and your reply is due by the end of the day on Tuesday, November 21st. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. There will be no virtual office hours during this week, but I will be responding to my email, so please feel free to send me a message. Well, that's it for now, everyone. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Rest, recuperate, recharge, enjoy delicious food, and spend some time with family and friends. Bye for now.